High Level is a full CRM and marketing platform, and I've used some of the best in the SaaS industry.
You know who made it.
And we are live on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. It's Revening's Wednesday. Welcome to Wednesday, Revenue Party people. We've got our hot topics and our hot guest, one guest today. And as you can tell, I have no makeup on and I'm in a different location. So this is my parents' house on Campbell's Island in between Illinois and Iowa. I know, very exciting. I'm on the Mississippi River. And I'm coming at you makeup-less because, believe it or not, us women, we have to think about makeup. I mean, we don't have to, but I like to. And sometimes I don't like to, and then I don't. And this morning, I actually didn't really feel like putting on makeup. So it worked out that we're talking about makeup today. And I can't wait to introduce you to our guest because she's someone who's local to me normally over in Columbus. And I've been introduced to her by Erica, who some of you may remember from the comments. She helped produce the show for a while. But yeah, I'll be bringing her in just a moment. But before I do, I want to remind everyone that this episode would not be possible if I didn't delegate. I wouldn't be able to be with my family right now in Moline, Illinois, if I wasn't able to delegate. And, speaking of women in makeup, I hate to stereotype, but there are a lot of statistics. And maybe we can go pull up ChatGPT and find some of them. But I remember them from back when I studied gender studies in grad school. I actually helped teach gender studies at one point. And one thing that held women back is that we don't like to delegate. We fight for power a lot of our career. And then once we get power, it's very hard to give it up and to delegate and let other people do things for us. But that is exactly what we need to do to get ahead. And Cherry Assistant has been able to help me do that because they help place me with people who have the skills that I need. So Layla, who's here in the background, she helps with this live stream. She's changing all the screens around, updates all the graphics. And, of course, there's other things that virtual assistants can do for you. All you need to do is just scan this QR code, or if you're listening on podcasts later on, just go to cherryassistant.com and tell them that you heard about them through WinsDay. And, just check it out, get someone to help you so that you can delegate. You might not even realize the things you're able to hand off, like your email tasks, your calendar. There's so much that you're doing that someone else can do so that you can go focus on what you're good at. And that's what Cherry Assistant helps you do. Also, I want you to go check out High Level. So at Reviting, we use app.reviting.com. And app.reviting.com is just high level white labeled. It just means that it's high level under the skin. I mean, it's just we call it app.reviting.com and our clients call it app.reviting.com, but really it's High Level. And if you want to try out High Level, all you need to do is go to reviting.com/high level and get a 30-day extended free trial with my affiliate link. You can also scan this QR code. But what High Level will do for you is it's going to help put your marketing and your sales on the next level for less money. So a lot of those big tools, big SaaS tools that many businesses are using, they're spending 5 to 6 figures on a year. You just don't need to do that anymore. Technology is much more budget friendly these days. And you don't want to have those old grandfathered in tools with these huge ecosystems that require you to hire someone just to operate the thing. You want tools that are built around AI with the most modern and nimble teams behind them to help make sure that they're staying updated. So that's what High Level does. And you all, if you've been here, you've heard my story of High Level. So I'll just digress on that. But it basically changed my business's budget because I went from, I was going to keep going with my big SaaS tool, and it was going to be $300 just for a dedicated IP, meaning I wanted to send out emails. And at that point in my business, $300 a month, that would have put me out of business. I was like bringing in nothing at that point. So to find something at $97 a month, and then not only did I have my own CRM and marketing automation platform, but two of my other clients could have that too, and I could resell them services, was huge. So if you're a marketer and you want to try it out, I would love to help you. Of course, I'm an affiliate, so I get a 40% cut if you sign up. So check it out, reviting.com/high level. But let's get right into today's episode. I want to go ahead and introduce you all to Joy Macke. Did I say that right? Is it Macke?
Yeah. It's Macke.
Okay, perfect. Well, we know each other from Columbus. I've actually been to your house. You have a beautiful home downtown Columbus. And I mean, Erica helped with this show for a long time. She was always behind the scenes, but she's our common denominator in how we met. But, you know, I'm really inspired by you because you are a makeup artist. And anyone who watches my show, they know I tend to dress up for the show. Like, I'm a theater person at heart. So I know all about theater makeup. And I'm coming to the show. I'm going to put on, like, not today, but I'm going to put on my theater makeup because I want to stand out. I want to have the big eyes. I want to have the lips. But even in real life, like, I'm a girly girl. I wear flowery dresses on the daily and, you know, things like that. But as a professional woman working in B2B, oftentimes being the only woman, wearing makeup can feel, you know, uncomfortable because some people will see it as in like, oh, she's putting in too much effort. What is she here for the right reasons? Or, you know, like, she's not putting in enough effort. Like, does she even care about herself and her appearance? And it's always this like fine line that women battle in tech if they want to wear makeup. Many women like don't even think about it. And that's where honestly where I hope we can get to is like, but I like personally to wear makeup and I am a makeup girly. So Joyce, could you kick us off with this episode today, first of all, by introducing yourself? We want to know like your full life story. Everyone can go find you on LinkedIn and they can find your resume and how amazing you are. But we like to know like the human you from birth to what brought you to now.
All right, here we go. Okay, so Joy Macke, and I've had my own business now, State of Face, and stateofface.com and stateofface at Gmail for I think 16 or 17 years, but I've been doing makeup for 24 years, almost 24 years now. But rewinding to the beginning, I was born outside of Cleveland, grew up in the suburbs, and my heart was always in performance. So I liked singing, I liked acting, and I ended up going to Ohio State and studying theater. Wasn't the best college student, kind of went out 7 nights a week, which is when I met our mutual friend, Erica. So I used to always go out and see tons of bands, and I ended up playing in bands, singing in bands, writing songs. And I graduated from college with a theater degree and was like, I have no idea what I want to do with it. So I was in sales. Interesting that you've got a lot of salespeople as your followers. And I was just naturally good at it because my intent always when I was selling something was to make connections with people. If I came into it with sort of a gross, like, please take my stuff and I want your money kind of mindset, then I was already losing. So I was naturally very good at sales, just making connections with people. And then that often helped me in sales. And honestly, what made me go into cosmetics was after September 11th, I was working in an advertising sales job, miserable, didn't make that much money anyway. But in my mind, I was like, I don't want to go and work in cosmetics, stand behind a counter. But that's what I did. And I quickly got recruited to be a trainer for a company and ended up going around the Midwest and Canada and training for a brand and then many brands. And then went freelance and thought maybe I'll just get out of cosmetics. I'm kind of burnt out, and I started taking all the jobs that people would call in for from a free ad that I had online. And I was so early in the traveling space that I think I ended up. I often say I got in at the right time. I got lucky, but I think there are a lot of people who got in around that same time that got out of it, because the truth is being self-employed in a gig economy type of job is not for everybody. And many times over, I've almost dipped out of it, even though I still love it. It's changing. It's evolved so much in the last 16 years. Um, so yeah, I mean, you're timing me again. I'm talking too much. Okay. So anyway, that's the longer version, the shorter version, whatever. So that's the version I'm giving you.
We'll take it. I like that
Okay.
version. And I love that you were in sales, and you're so right. Like the best salespeople are just people who want to help people and are able to connect with other humans. I
Yeah.
totally agree there. So let's get into our first topic. I mean, I do have my makeup here. I came makeup list. So if you're watching, stay tuned. I'm going to be like pulling out my makeup and we'll like learn all the things I'm doing wrong, but in a hopes to like help any women over 40. So speaking of that, define who you serve, brand clarity. So how
Yeah.
did you figure that out?
I think that in the last decade, I've started getting a lot of inquiries for lessons. And it's interesting because you would think people who are learning to do makeup are often people in their teens and 20s. And while I do get some people who inquire for lessons that are younger, most of the people are my age and up. So I'm 50 now, but I would say like around the time I was 40, I started noticing more and more people. So I do lessons and lessons with shopping, sort of like a shop and learn kind of situation, with a lot of women. And they're usually, I would say, 85% of the time in their 40s and 50s. So in, my bracket. And I would say that that ended up becoming a bit of a niche for me. When you are Googling makeup lessons, are you going to want to go to Sephora, which comes up? Are you going to want to go to a 25 or 30-year-old makeup artist when you're 46 years old? Or are you going to look and go, she looks like she's been doing it for about 15, 20, 25 years. And maybe go to that person because they might understand. And I think there's also just this kind of unspoken understanding. If you were born in the 70s or early 80s, or even the 60s, then, maybe you over tweeze your eyebrows and I've got you there. Like, I know what we need to do for that. Maybe, you were the kind of person who never wore sunscreen. So you've got some sun damage and some sunspots that you want to cover. I got you there. Maybe you want to focus on the skincare. Well, I'm not an esthetician, but what I do for my own skin, to help it and for makeup to lay well on it is going to be able to be communicated more clearly because I have the skin that's older and have had to maintain a certain kind of skin for 20, 30, 40, 50 years now. So I would say that I definitely have niched down to my core clientele being 40 and up. But that's not to say that I don't have a lot of clients that are younger. For sure, I do. I do quite a few weddings, and my average bride is around 28, 29 years old, I would say. It used to be like 27, but I am seeing it slowly get a little bit closer to 30. And I do have a lot of girls, women in their 30s who are getting married too. So I do feel like I also attract maybe an older demographic bride. So I still love doing weddings. I do about 50 a year, where I was doing maybe 60 or 70 before. Now I feel like it's definitely quality over quantity, and I'd say that's my brand and who I serve.
the brand clarity. So like I like your process of elimination in terms of how you figured out who your audience is. I mean, just in terms of like who is signing up and working with you. And you found women over 40. That makes a lot of sense. And I love that you're saying you're seeing the age of brides gradually increase. Do you think that's
Yeah.
like does that align like societally?
I don't know. It's interesting because I do sometimes wonder, is it just because I'm getting older that I'm attracting people that are
Oh,
closer
yeah.
to my age? Is it that maybe I'm not as present on Instagram as some of the
Oh,
people
maybe.
who are, 25 to 35? I,
Yeah,
I do I do have an Instagram account, but it's just not as curated, and it's not that same vibe that a lot of my very successful younger colleagues have, and kudos to them. So then if I do attract a slightly older clientele, awesome. I do also do production work, and I think for me, because I've been doing production work, so that would be for like corporate type of things, typically, or sometimes for public companies too, like government and stuff like that, so, or nonprofits. So when I get booked for those, they can see all, like on my client list on my website, they can see how many of the big brands I've worked for over the years. So am I doing a ton of production work? No, but because it's been spread out over almost 20 years now, I've touched a lot of big corporate clients at this point. So while I do have more individual clients than I do corporate clients, just yesterday I was booked in Cleveland for an all-day shoot on a nonprofit.
Mm,
So yeah, I do book
yeah,
that, and it's an important part of my business, because otherwise, if I'm just doing lessons, one-offs for people who have special events and for weddings, it wouldn't be full-time work. So I definitely
yeah,
need to pepper in that additional clientele.
totally. And I remember, I think it was probably Erica's last birthday when we were all at that Italian restaurant, I feel like. But you were talking about how you were helping a woman, prepare for her TED Talk. And you were like helping
Oh,
her figure out her outfit and her makeup. So, like, can you teach us, like, what were you teaching her? Like, what are you
she
seeing that?
did her own thing anyway. She's a very strong-willed person
I
who didn't
mean,
choose any of the
okay,
clothes that I chose for her. And it was nothing personal. I kind of knew going into it, I was like, it's okay. Whatever ends up happening happens. But as far as what I'm gonna, usually makeup, I only do a very little bit of fashion styling. But so when it comes to a one-on-one client, I like to really get a feel for them. So people will give you a lot of clues and a lot of cues, right? Um, they're going to come in wearing a certain thing. If that thing is edgy, they're going to probably be more open to the bright lip, the dark lip, the winged liner. If that thing is preppy, then they're going to want something probably more clean, more matte, more simple. If they come in with something like really young sort of looking, where it's sort of like very Gen Z coded, as they say.
yeah,
The cool cropped baggy sweatshirt, and low rise, like they can wear low rise. But maybe they're in their 40s and they're just super in the fashion world that way. Then I
yeah,
kind of also know, like, okay, that person's probably going to want like the clean girl makeup, which is very creamy and glowy and dewy and skincare focused. So I think that there's a way to sort of get a read. And then I have a lot of natural crunchy people, or just natural, like, reading a book, not worried about makeup kind of people. And I get those people too, because I'm a little bit of a nerd, and it's not necessarily that I'm a bookish nerd, but I'm kind of, I'm very niche in my interests. So I understand the people who are niched in their interest to the point that like makeup just isn't on their radar. It's not that they're anti makeup, it's just that it's like I'm focused on other stuff and it's kind of very background, So I do lessons for a lot of those people too. And those people aren't going to want to take a half an hour every day to get ready. So I'm going to find like 5 key products for them and a way that they can apply it that they're not going to need a million brushes, but they can get the maximum benefit from it. So it's probably going to be more of a tinted moisturizer, mascara, a little color that can go on their cheeks and lips, and maybe a concealer. I love concealer.
That makes sense. So if you were to walk into, like, say, I don't know, some tech company like Salesforce, and it's all women, and you were going to give them like a makeup tutorial to a group. So you have to make some
Okay.
generalizations.
Yeah. And I
Like,
do group lessons sometimes too.
yeah. Oh, I love that. People,
So yeah, I
what would
sometimes
you
like sometimes I'll have lead time where I can send them like a shopping list so that
say?
everybody has the
Oh,
products that they need going into it. I have a 40th birthday party with a woman's 10 closest friends coming up in the next few weeks.
I love that.
And I sent them a list, and it's like you don't have to have this specific product, but it was like a category and then some suggestions for that category. So generally I'll want them to have at least enough similar stuff to pull from, because you grab a makeup bag and maybe the person is like, I never do anything for brows. Well, they're not going to be able to create brow products out of nothing. So I want to make
Mhm.
sure going into it that they have everything that they need. And I do try to make it as simple as possible, which I feel like, oh my gosh, there's so many extra categories now that there never were.
Right.
But I do try to simplify it. It's not the easiest thing for me. But I would say for walking into the tech world, again, you're probably going to get a lot of people who don't want to take more than 5 minutes. They're very on the go. They might have very long days. So I would say a sunscreen built into either like a tinted moisturizer or something like that. So skin tints are a big thing now. If you're able to combine a sunscreen skin
Mhm.
tint,
For sure.
fantastic. So
Love
that's
those.
going to give you hydration, a little evening out, and a little bit of coverage, and all at once. So moisturizing, coverage, sunscreen, great, all in one. Then you're probably going to want to do a brow of some kind. Um, Everybody's got, you know, very different brows. So if you've got skinny, sparse, like over tweezed brows, or they just never grew in very well, you're going to want something that's probably like a pencil and a powder, probably a little combination. If you're somebody who's got pretty good brows, but they're just a little unruly and maybe too thick, then you're going to want a gel, maybe with a tint. So I like to customize people's brows, so it's harder for me to say like all this.
Yeah, like
But
switch your
the one thing that I feel like 10 years ago was super hot was eyeshadow palettes, and we are getting really away from eyeshadow palettes these days, which is so strange because even for me, I'm like, I love palettes. I just think they're so pleasing to look at, right? But I think they can be overwhelming. And then we notice we're using the same 2 or 3 colors from them a lot. And anymore, there's a lot of stick colors that you can just kind of whip on all at once. And some of those sticks will also give you eyeliner. So if you do like a dark brown and maybe like a beige shimmer, done. Quick little stick, quick little smear on the lid. Mascara, always. I am a big mascara person. And then concealer, always. I like concealer underneath the eyes, brighten it up, make sure that that area is hydrated first. And then I love a tinted lip balm. So somebody who doesn't need to have like a bold lip, I do love just like balm with juicy kind of, it helps make the lips fuller. Does it last? No. But do you want your lips to feel hydrated? Yes.
yes.
So I like to combine it with a lip liner, but I'm probably going to have to reapply that a couple times a day to stay on top of it. So keep that in your purse. You can do that without a mirror. You can touch that up, as you're walking to the front door of, your next appointment or whatever. So then the other thing is cream blush. I love cream blushes now. Doesn't matter if it's a stick, if
Ooh,
it's a
love cream
liquid.
blush. Yep.
Um, I would just do like a dot on each finger and you can work it in really quick. So boom, boom, boom.
I'm showing
All of
all
these
Tarte
things.
products, by the way. I'm like a Tarte person. I did like a Tarte thing with Tarte on TikTok, so I have all these Tarte
Oh, did
products.
you?
Yes, and
Yeah.
you're naming a lot of things. Like the first one, the SPF
Oh,
moisturizer, like tinted moisturizer. I love the BB Blur tinted moisturizer. Became obsessed, like not just because I was reselling it, but I actually love
yeah.
this. It feels like a filter for my face, and
Yeah,
it's
it's probably got a lot of dimethicone in it, and that probably helps almost like a primer built into it.
right.
Um, yeah, so I would say look at the ingredients and make sure you're not using additional primer underneath it.
Okay. So it
Probably. I
says
don't know, but is it kind of
ingredients.
moussey, would you say?
Is it what?
Moussey, like almost like a whipped kind of feel?
Almost, but I know what you're talking about, but it's not.
Not?
It
Okay.
is like it's kind of matte, which I don't normally like
Oh,
matte these days.
yeah.
But I do like this one because it's just like highly moisturizing.
Okay. Love that for you.
But it says the active ingredients are titanium dioxide and zinc oxide. Tell me about that.
Okay, so those are your classic physical sunscreens.
Okay.
Um, a lot of times they do what's called oxidize. So
Uh-huh.
it takes about a minute or two when you're color matching anything with those ingredients. If you're swatching those on your cheek, you want to make sure to give it a couple of minutes to kind of set and warm up to your skin. It's nothing wrong with the product. It's just that it needs time and usually goes a little bit darker than the initial couple minutes that you put it on. So titanium and zinc are a lot more finely milled these days and generally don't feel as white cast and heavy as they used to. Back in
Mm.
even like the early 2000s, if you saw that ingredient, that meant like a white cast and heavy flashback for cameras, but it's not the best for photography. So you probably don't want to wear that when you're being photographed because the
Oh.
titanium and zinc will bounce back on a photo and you're going to look like a weird ghost face.
So
Or if
when
you
I
do
get
just
for live
like
streaming,
add a lot of bronzer if you're going to do that.
I usually do wear bronzer. Yes.
Okay.
Only like cheeks, here, all the
Yeah.
like contouring spots.
Yeah. So when you're matching, you can also do like little swatches on your chest and just give it a couple minutes to warm up to your skin to make sure, like, if you're in a store, that's a good way to color match and to make sure you're getting the right color.
Okay.
Yeah, because
Wait,
of the
what is
titanium.
the titanium? So if something has titanium in it, then as a live streamer, like that's kind of photography, right? Is that the same as like still photography?
No, because it's not flash photography.
Okay, great.
So
So
yeah,
I can still wear titanium as a live streamer and not worry about it.
yeah, you should be able to. You would know if you look white cast because you would be able to see it,
Yes,
right?
you see it. I
I
don't have
can't tell you're like the
it.
size of like half the size of a penny on my little phone screen. I'm sorry, but
It's
I don't
okay.
think so. I don't think so. I would just make sure, to be aware if it's matching your body. And sometimes during the summer
Yeah.
you might want to go a shade or two darker because I was just at the beach last week. I'm wearing my darkest foundation right now because I did get a little sun even though I was wearing sunscreen. If you're out on the beach in South Carolina for 6, 7 days straight, you're going to
You're
get
gonna
a
get
little bit of sun.
sun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm wearing my darkest foundation right now and probably will for a couple weeks. But the other option, if you're wearing sunscreen, is a chemical sunscreen, which sounds bad, but those are the ones that are going to feel a lot more light and you're going to see like SPF 50. SPF 45, SPF 55. You're like, how did they get so much sunscreen into that? It's because it's micronized and it's a chemical element that they're able to make it really smooth. So it just depends on your preferences. There are some people that would worry about that going into your bloodstream and saying it's not as safe. Um, it depends what your preferences are. And then also, when you talk about reef safety, like coral reef safety, there is some concern about the chemical sunscreens not being reef safe. So if
Uh,
you are swimming in the ocean, I would tend to go for a physical sunscreen. And I might be wrong. I'm not a chemist and I don't, try to say that I am, but this is my understanding of it. So I'm like, I try to lean towards the natural type of ingredients when it comes to that.
totally. No, I love that.
Totally
And
nerding out on you. I can't help
And
myself.
that's important though. I think a lot of, I would say, women in the workplace, myself included, I ended up like becoming obsessed with ColourPop because
Oh
I
my
started
God.
to trust their ingredients. And it's like, A, they were made in LA.
Yep.
B, I'm looking at all the ingredients. They all seem like names I can pronounce, like natural ingredients,
Yeah.
which I appreciate.
I
And
do
I
feel
think,
like the whole natural trend, though, is a bit of marketing. One of the big things is parabens, and the
mm,
cited study on parabens um, talks about finding it in breast cancer tissue, finding parabens, but I don't think correlation and causation are the same thing, right? So the fact that there's a correlation, just finding it in breast cancer tissue doesn't mean that it's causing breast cancer. So there's
okay.
been no studies that say that parabens do cause breast cancer.
Yeah.
Do I want to slather stuff with parabens all over my boobs? No. But am I going to avoid it for my face? I mean, no. You know why? Because without parabens, products turn a lot faster. They go bad. So usually in natural brands, if you're looking at preservatives, because that's what a paraben is, you're going to see things like vitamin E or even like a sage derivative. So if you've ever noticed that your skincare that's natural brands goes a little weird and funky, it's expired. If it smells a little off, it expires really quickly. But I do
Mm,
like natural brands too. So I'm
yeah.
sort of in this like weird camp of like, I understand the science of it and that the science has not proven any kind of, fear factor. And I don't like to let everything, that people are freaking out about dictate my buying patterns. But I do try to buy things that are animal friendly. And that was a thing for ColourPop that I like too, is
Yeah.
that, they don't test
Don't test on animals.
on
And that's
animals.
something I found with other professional women. Like I host a women's retreat, and I remember our conversation about makeup. It all tended to be, well, we also had a Korean woman in the mix. So she had a lot to say about skincare. But in terms of the actual makeup, we all agreed that finding natural ingredients were important to us. But had we had some scientists there to kind of explain to us like why parabens, and it's interesting because I used to be a canner. Like I used to make like jellies and like
Mhm.
sauces and like can them and preserve them. And when you can and preserve things, you of course have to add a whole bunch of crap to it so that it stays.
Mhm.
Like the reason jelly is because you add like 6 cups of sugar for like every 5 grapes. I mean, like it is all just sugar, but that sugar preserves it and it keeps it for a long time. So if I think of it like that, like the
Right.
paraben is there to preserve it, to keep it for a
Yeah.
long
So yeah, your parabens and usually all the parabens like methyl paraben, they end with the word paraben and you'll see them, they're pretty low in the ingredient deck, but they're there for that reason because
time.
things get a little funky. And that's the last thing you want is like a mold bloom on your lipstick because they didn't put the right preservatives in it. It's kind of gross.
Yeah, that is
But it's
gross.
like mold bloom, cancer.
Well, see,
Ah.
and these things are really important. And TikTok is showing us that they're important because you are going viral on TikTok. A woman you were telling me about before who had a scar, and we're going to show this video after a quick message from our sponsor. But before I jump to our ad real quick from Cherry Assistant, I just want to tell you like, when you're putting makeup on something like a fresh wound, knowing the ingredients is really important. And this is also important to a lot of people because you're getting like a million views on something related to this. And we're going to show you that video right after these messages.
This is Mike, also known as Clean with Mike on Twitter. Mike hired a virtual assistant from Cherry Assistant about 2 years ago. Now he has a $50K per month business fully managed by a remote operator in South Africa. His VA from South Africa does the following: closing inbound leads on the phone, Yelp and Google and Facebook, manages his CRM and Go high level, deals with rescheduling, cancellations, any issues, hires and manages the cleaners, and sends them daily reports and updates. Mike has a fully cash flowing business managed by a remote operator for only $8 an hour. You can also hire a US equivalent worker in the Philippines, South Africa, Latin America for a fraction of the cost with Cherry Assistant. Be like Mike and grow your business with offshore staff.
All right, so if you're on podcast right now, we're showing a menu of services that you can get from Cherry Assistant, including lead generation, CRM management, prospecting assistance, sales presentation preparation, data entry and cleanup, customer support, and project management assistance. So there's a lot you can do when you get a VA. So check out Cherry Assistant. They can help place you. Just go over to their website. But back to our conversation regarding makeup and having, you know, the right ingredients on our skin. So you had a video. I'm going to show it here so everyone can see what we're talking about. But I mean, it's got, I think Layla said when we were pre-show, it was at 1.6 million views on TikTok. And everyone's going to see why here, including myself, in just a moment. Let me pull it up. Here we go.
My last face of the day for this wedding was Anna's mom. And she did have a situation that I needed to help her out with. She had just had to have an emergency surgery on an artery right on her neck. And it was, she was just recovering from surgery. And she was very worried about the visibility of it, just kind of putting other people off. She said she was fine with it for herself. But I decided to do only airbrush in that area just to keep it more safe and hygienic. And because it is water-based and glycerin, I felt like it would be safe on that area that was still healing. And then besides that, we did a nice, warm, very clean, simple look for her. And she was going to get lash extensions. And then because of having surgery, she didn't have time to go out and get them, and was really happy that she was able to get some fake lashes and that they felt so comfortable on her. And as you can see by her reaction, she was thrilled with the way it turned out. And I was too. And I had to give her a hug because she was just a really awesome person to work with and was so happy. And it makes me happy to make them happy.
Oh, that is so sweet. And
You know, if I thought that 1.6 million people were going to view that, I might have not had my hair such a mess that day. I was trying to let it air dry and be naturally curly, and I just pulled back the sides. And then I start working and I immediately get so hot. And then it just looked like a hot mess. And my friend who's behind me doing the footage, I was like, oh, back of my head should be my business suddenly. Generally, I say the back of my head is not my business. It suddenly is my business. And I said 50 times, and trust me, people on the internet are real fun that way to point it out. I recorded that laying in a hotel bed, and it took me as long as the video is. I didn't retape it. I didn't watch it before I posted. I just posted it. So yeah, I didn't think, 1.6 million people are going to be seeing anything, because that is not what I draw in. Usually it's a couple hundred
that
people.
might be why 1.6 million people saw it, because it was real, it was human, it was authentic, and people see that. Like if you're super scripted and like you have your hair
not
you know.
scripted. I had no idea what I was going to say. Is apparently what I'm going to say.
Yeah, I mean,
So yeah, one of the things that I talk about in the video, and I don't go into depth because I didn't think that many people would see it, nor did I think people would be questioning my choice to put makeup on her healing wound. Yeah, was it 100% safe? We always take the risk. We always, as a makeup artist, people can have allergies and people can have outbreaks from anything. So when I'm doing airbrush, I'm putting no pressure on it. I'm not putting any germs on it, as an airbrush artist, I know my product so well because I've been using the same makeup for my airbrush gun, which is Kett, Kett, and it's the hydro based, which is a water based. I've been using that same product for over 15 years, and it's based in water, glycerin, and pigments. And people said, well, how would she wash it off? And does she not still need to shower? She was telling me, I want this. Please help me. It doesn't hurt. And she showed me, she was like, it doesn't hurt. I was like, okay, if you say so. Again, I thought a couple hundred people were going to see it. And what I really wanted to provide was a service to this mother who had emergency surgery and didn't think, after choosing her dress, which wasn't super low cut, it was, I think, about right here,
yeah.
but showing, a huge scar, she didn't think, oh, I'm going to have this huge scar in this emergency surgery. So you don't get a second chance to go to your daughter's wedding.
No, you absolutely do not. And I'm so glad that you were able to provide that and catch it on camera.
And yeah, to put myself in her shoes, I can't imagine.
Totally.
I don't know why my phone just decided to freeze. I don't know if it's still
Yeah,
recording.
I think you cut out a little bit, but that's okay. Let's
Okay,
move
I'm
to
back.
our second topic, which is standing out, finding your edge in crowded markets. So kick us off on this. How would you advise someone how to stand out and find your edge in a crowded market?
And I think I keep saying this, so hopefully it's not too redundant, but I don't know how to be anybody but who I am. I think that there are some people who are maybe a little bit more corporate minded that got into this after a corporate career that they were successful in that. I always had trouble in the corporate world because I am a little bit more of a, I don't know, just don't fit into a box very well. And when I listen to my instincts, when I follow my gut, that is when I end up having the most success. Can I get in my head? Can I compare myself to other people? 100%. And I do, and I catch myself, and it's something I'm working on. Just like all the creatives out there, we all have self doubt. We all have, the fear of failure. We all have, imposter syndrome. So, how I stand out is by being completely who I am because I don't know how else to be. I'm going to try to make you feel comfortable. You're going to get in my chair. You might feel awkward. Maybe you've never had makeup done before. I want you to feel relaxed. I want you to feel comfortable. I'm not judging you for your untweezed eyebrows. I'm not judging you for a little bit of facial hair. I've seen it all. I've done it. I've been doing this a long time. I am not judging you. So I think that by putting people off, by having them take their guards down a little bit, that's how I've set myself apart. I've noticed a lot of the times when I get reviewed, people will say that I listened to everybody's request or that everybody looked a little different and not in a non cohesive way. It was like, the person who feels like I like to have, under eye eyeliner. I'm not going to tell you, you can't do that. I'm going to make it the most modern, the most clean, the most effective version of that, but I'm not going to tell you no. And the longer I've done it, the less I take things personally. I think that that's been a really important lesson for me in this work is that it's not personal and I invite feedback from people in a very real way. And I think that that is the best way to make people feel confident is that when they look at themselves, I can tell if they look at themselves and they're like, yeah, I like it. I'm like, no, it's okay. It's not going to hurt my feelings. This is your face and your special day or whatever it is. Please, what is it that you like? What is it that you don't like? What is standing out to you? What feels off to you? I can change anything. Sometimes it's just a lip color. I'm like, do you know how easy that is to just adjust your lip color? That is not personal to me at all. Oh my gosh, I feel so much better. All I did was change your lip color. Maybe it's that you wanted a wing liner and you didn't know to say you wanted a wing liner. I'll add
Yeah,
you a wing. I love a wing liner.
it's like
So
the
yeah.
Yeah, and same thing in personal branding, it's just like sometimes you just need to change the lipstick color. Like it's not that
Yep.
hard. Sometimes you just need a new brand logo, like you
Yeah.
just need I don't know. I don't want to say like a facelift because I don't think you need a facelift, but you just need a little something,
A little
like
Botox.
maybe a little baby Botox.
I'll be Botox.
I've gotten my baby Botox. I mean, I say baby
I
Botox.
don't do no baby Botox at 50, girl.
Well, but like what is it, 300 or something is the regular? And I'm like, damn,
Wait, what's the regular you cut out for a second there?
like 300 units. It's like, I don't know how many shots that is. It's like,
Of Botox?
yeah. At
They
Boston,
must be getting it in their neck and in their head for
yeah, maybe
migraines.
that's it. Maybe
50,
that's
I think. 50 is what I've heard, which is a full vial. And that's
okay.
around usually
Okay.
where I land.
Yeah. And
But
there's
just
also
twice a year. I can't keep up with every 3 months or 4 months. That's a lot of money. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of needles going into my face. So,
totally.
I've been doing it for 10 years, about
It
twice a
has
year.
some movement. Like you want to be like,
Yeah.
I like expression. I
I
want to
think
be,
mine actually kicked in the last day or two. I'm like, whoa, my brows are looking lifted because I got it done like a week and a half,
I
two
love
weeks ago.
that. I love that for you. And then you get a little
Thanks.
more space for your eyeshadow. But
Yeah, I got a lot of lid space. A lot of real estate. That's what I tell my clients. You know, I this is maybe not a business thing, but you will hear the most random compliments from a makeup artist. And usually we're, at least because I cannot lie. I'm not like, "Oh, you have such pretty eyes." Like that's so vague. I'll be like, "Your bottom eyelashes are so thick." Like, what? Bottom eyelash? Like that's, and it'll be like the third time I've done somebody's makeup, and they'll be like, "Yeah, you say that every time." I'm like, "Well, at least you know I'm not lying." It's very specific. Or I'll be like, "Oh my gosh, your Cupid's bow is so well defined.
That is so
The
funny.
texture of your
So
skin is amazing. Oh my gosh, you're so lucky. Your under eyes are just so bright. You have no dark circles at all." Yeah, we give the weirdest compliments because we're like we're in there.
you
And
look at
what people
faces
see
all
on
day.
their own face, what's that?
You look at faces all day.
Yeah, oh, and what people see on their own face is not what we see. They'll see like, "Oh my gosh, my nose is so wide. Can you make my round face less round?" I'm like, "What round face?" I'm like, "You've got like a prominent cheekbone and you're not round at all." Like, everybody thinks they got a fat round face. I'm like, "You don't have a fat round face." Like everybody's really hard on themselves and their own worst critic. So know that if you're hard on yourself, that's taking away your power. Just embrace what you are. I love unique features. I love people's own natural lips. Like, you don't have to go inflate your lips. So I'm telling you, on one hand, like, yeah, go ahead and do the Botox.
Good.
But
I
then on
like
the other hand, I'm like, embrace your skinny lips, man. Who cares?
I have skinny lips and I use my Maracuja Tarte lip plumping, but I don't
Yeah.
think, it's
It
like minty,
it
but
doesn't do much. It's a little three
yeah,
dimension for like the little tiny fine lines on our lips. But I think really, if you want to fake it, you got to get a lip tone lip liner and just go like right underneath and right above. But do not emphasize this part, or you're gonna look like the Joker.
really.
You can do a little bit like right in here, but don't pull it out. Like you can fake it more on the insides and the
Oh, you
bottom.
mean like with the lip liner, not with like
Yeah, if you're gonna overdraw anything, do not overdraw this. It's not a cute look.
yeah, I like to take like even if I'm really putting a lot of makeup on, I'll take like a concealer and
Yeah,
highlight around the lip there.
yeah.
Yeah.
I did that today. I am telling you, today's makeup was a struggle bus. I was like, I feel like I've never done my makeup before, knowing that I was going to be on this broadcast. My eyes were watering. I was redoing my eyeliner. So just know,
It
like,
looks so
even
good.
I've been doing it for 24 years, and I was like, ah, for like 45 minutes to an hour, so annoyed. This stupid basic look it took me forever today. I could do a full face with airbrush, wing liner, and fake lashes in a half an hour, but my own basic look today took me 45 minutes to an hour. You just never
You
know.
just never know. Yeah, when I am like doing my full face typically for a Wednesday, like I need a while to get ready. And then I'm blow drying my hair and then I'm like styling my hair.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
I
yeah,
need
and
to,
well, I backed myself into a corner with my hair today because I
oh,
put off washing my hair. Like it, I try not to do it too often because I have very dry
it
hair,
dries
especially
out. Yeah.
since highlighting, bleaching the front.
Yeah.
So I put a hair mask on it last night. I just like slathered the heck out of it. Was like, you got no escape now. You got to wash your hair tomorrow. And it just took me forever. I think my blow dryer sucks and I'm going to buy a new one.
I know. And I have to admit one reason why I went the no makeup route and the no like hair done route is because here in this Campbell's Island house, there's no blow dryer. So I'm
What are
not
you going to
prepared.
do?
I was like, oh no, I
Yeah.
can't get
You're
ready.
fighting an uphill battle with no blow dryer. Even
Yeah.
when my hair is 100% dry, I will re-wet it and use like the round brush that's like, I don't know, like the styling brush. You know what I'm talking about? Revlon
Yeah,
makes a really
I
popular
do
one
know what
that
you're talking
blows
about.
hot air. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's like my usual, like, I do that. I'll just like mist my hair and I'll do that. But right now my hair is still 10% wet. I was drying it for ages. I'm like, I'm just gonna burn it at this point. Just forget it. And
Like
oh, by the way, I'm cutting it off next week, I think.
you
I'm just
are?
cutting, yeah, like 10 inches. Bye bye.
Oh, wow.
I'm done with it. I do
Looking
this like
good.
every year or two. I'm just like, chop, chop.
Chop chop. Yeah, I do it once in a while as well. But right now I'm kind of into my long hair. I don't know, it feels easier actually.
I
Like
feel like I'm always laying on it now. Like, this is too long. If I'm like laying on it and I have to do that a lot, like, It's too much.
I think I got traumatized from having short hair. It's like you have to cut it all the time. Otherwise, like it's like growing out weird on the underneath. But I had it like short. So it was,
Yeah, I'm not doing short. When I do that, it gets like triangle shape and
right.
so unflattering on my head. Oh my gosh, my hair just it likes to grow out instead of down. So
Yeah.
not a cute look for me. No,
Same.
we'll do like a medium length. Like I said, probably 8 to 10 inches. It'll be, you know, I found a picture from exactly 2 years ago and I was like, that's what I want again.
That's what you want again?
Yeah, that's what I
Oh,
want
your hair.
again. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Got it. Well, okay,
Sidetracked. Okay.
Joy, this has been a really great conversation. In terms of like wrapping it up, before we like get to the part where we want you to share how people can reach out to you, could you please share your guru of the week? Ooh, I think there's someone
Guru of the week.
more, so I'm gonna pull myself out of camera and you can tell us your guru of the week.
Okay. My guru of the week is Sam. She usually goes by Sam Antics. I guess her full name is Samantha Viet. And she is a hair and makeup artist in Columbus, Ohio. She owns a business called Hey Pretty Beauty. She also owns a head spa, which is like one of those like spas where you get like massaged scalp things. It's like super popular now. And then she also is starting a speakeasy aesthetics place. So she's got like a team and it's fanned out and she undersells herself that she's like not this boss babe. She is like the boss. But the coolest thing about her is that she's not in it for the money. She's in it to empower other people. She pays people really well, but she pays them in such a way that it's not like overpaying so that her business goes under. She's super smart. She has a master's in business and she lifts up tons of people in the community, gives me a bunch of referrals, even though she's younger than me. Like, amazing person. And, I want to be like her when I grow up. So, no, I don't want to own a bunch of businesses. I know that about myself, but she's amazing at it. And people who are on her team and who work for her are super lucky to be on her team and to work for her. I told her recently that I feel like she is like, there's a local company that is in the beauty space and they're huge. Everybody knows their name. I'm not going to say their name on camera though. And they pull people straight out of beauty school and hire them when they're really good. And then they make it so that once they've established their business, they can never leave because they have these non competes for like 30 miles in every direction for years. So then you can never go anywhere. So you're locked in with them for life. So she gets people straight out of beauty school because she works in a beauty school. She's a teacher in a beauty school on top of owning all these businesses so that she can find the best talent. And then they come to work for her and they're like, well, first of all, I never want to leave because I'm treated so well. And second of all, I can if I want. And then sometimes people go off on their own and start amazing businesses too. So she's like an incubator and at the same time, like this mother hen. She's freaking amazing.
She sounds amazing. I
Surely is.
have to reach out to her, and everyone else here should too. Like, there's
Yeah.
another really great guru of the week for everyone to go follow. We always hear
Yes.
about really great people. Well, Joy,
Yeah.
this has been such a great conversation. Before we go, could you please just let the listeners know, well, what exactly it is you do, who it actually it is that you serve, and if that is them, how could they reach out to you?
Sure. What it actually is that I do, mostly makeup. I do a little bit of hair, but don't hire me for hair. I mean, if it's like senior photos or something, I'll do that. But you can find me easily on stateofface.com, stateofface@gmail.com. Or you can also find me on LinkedIn under Joy Macke, Macke. You can find me on Instagram, State of Face Makeup. You can find me on TikTok, State of Face. And I still think I have a State of Face Makeup Artistry Facebook account, but I never do anything with it. But I really serve everybody who has anything from a special event, wants to learn how to do makeup. You want to host a party for your girlfriends to learn how to do makeup or just get your makeup done. A lot of times people are going to events and I'm doing a bunch of people all at once. kind of gnat in here. And I have a little studio in my home space in Columbus, Ohio. I'm very close to downtown, or I'll go on site. So that is what I do.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. I'm so glad we could finally make it happen.
Thank you so much for having me, Jessie. This has been really fun, and I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Okay. Well, everyone, we look forward to seeing you all back here next week for another great episode of WinsDay. I hope you all have a great Wednesday, and I hope you have a great Wednesday too, Joy.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.